Hi everybody. So as Alan introduced me, I'm Nona Hunter and I'm from Arts Council England, and I am Relationship Manager with a specialism in creative media, and I'm based in the Southwest office in Bristol, and we cover the Southwest as we all know it, plus Portsmouth, Hampshire and the Isle of Wight, so we have quite a big area. And creative media as a specialism is it's an interesting one. I kind of cover everything that has anything to do with digital technologies. So I look after organisations that use digital technology in their artwork. I manage projects that look at digital distribution, look at archiving, a vast array of kind of different digital and creative industries projects. Creative industries being kind of an area that the Arts Council is starting to step into and support, although we've always supported the arts and cultural element of the creative industries, but I'll come on to that in a minute. So I'm just going to give a little overview. So this is my agenda for today. I'm going to whiz through this. So I'm going to give you a little introduction to the Arts Council, talk a bit about funding the creative industries. I don't know if everyone can read this, so anyway. Give you an introduction to Grants for the Arts, which is our kind of go-to funding programme, and very, very briefly touch on a couple of example kind of big projects that we're doing to support the creative industry sector. I know everybody probably can't read everything on the slide, so I'm just going to pick out key points, but I'm happy to share the presentation afterwards by email if anyone is interested. So, Arts Council England. Arts Council champions, develops and invests in artistic and cultural experiences that enrich people's lives. We support a huge amount of different types of activity across all art forms, digital arts, literature, music, craft. Between 2015 and 2018 we will invest £1.1 billion of public money from the government and about £700 million of lottery funding. So we have quite large sums available. So we have a number of different funding programmes. We have our MPO funding, which is National Portfolio Organisations, like The Point is one of those, where we have 3-year funding contracts with organisations that deliver certain work activity in agreement with us for that money. We fund major partner museums, and we have Grants for the Arts funding, which is the go-to funding programme for anyone with an arts project in England. And I will come into that with a lot more detail, but if you're coming to the Arts Council for funding, that is probably where you would go. It's split into two, so we have £1,000 to £15,000 available, and then £15,000 to £100,000 available with additional money, but you have to have special permission for that. We also offer a range of strategic funds. These are where we basically see a gap in, as a development or organisation for the arts. If we look at the arts and cultural sector as a whole and we see a gap somewhere in provision, we will use strategic funding to plug that gap and run specific development projects. That could be capital expenditure, so doing up buildings, offering an application-based funding programme for any kind of building development that needs to be done, looking at developing philanthropic giving in organisations and fundraising. It could be digital work, it could be a wide range of different things. So, funding the creative industries. So I kind of said earlier, this is a new area for the Arts Council, kind of. We fund arts and culture, and we fund projects that have had huge economic benefit for Britain, like Warhorse and Les Mis, so we started those projects off the ground with public money. At the moment, there is an increasing awareness in government of the economic impact of culture. Culture is central to the creative industries, which is now worth 5% of our economy, and the arts and cultural industry alone is worth 7.7 billion to the UK. So it's really important to us, the creative industry sector. So we're really looking at different ways that we can support and develop the creative industry sector so it can flourish and grow. This is what DCMS breaks down the creative industries as being, although I think it's a bit broad brush, to be honest. Advertising and marketing, architecture, crafts, design, product, graphic and fashion design, film, TV, video, radio, photography, IT, software and computer services, publishing, museums, galleries and libraries, music, performing arts and visual arts. So huge amounts of stuff going on there. And within that you've got things like gaming and other things that aren't quite explicitly set out there. So what our role is in the creative industries. So we want to make loans and grants available for those with creative ideas, from music to craft, and we want to seed fund into creative micro businesses. And we're starting to do that now, and it's something that we're developing over the next few years. We've just had a creative industries director in post for almost a year now, so we're really kind of starting to set out our strategy for creative industries. At the moment, we fund things like, and I'm going to hear more about this soon, we fund Arts Council funding goes into Creative Industries Finance, which is run by Creative United, which offers loans for seed funding for startups and things like that. And we also offer funding through Grants for the Arts, but there will be more opportunities for seed funding coming up soon, so watch this space. Explore, test and support interdisciplinary collaborations. I think this is a really exciting area of work when we're looking at developing the creative industries, and this is about enabling collaborations between artists, technologists, scientists, academics, and how do we get those groups together to develop the sector and come up with really interesting artworks. We've got a couple of projects that are kind of really looking at that now, including the Digital R&D Fund. I won't go into it now, but it's really exciting projects, and you can look online at some really great projects that have been supported. And I'll talk about a little bit more later about a project called the Arts and Technology Pilot. We also want to be here to provide businesses with tools and support they need on copyright, access to finance, business planning and digital media. And this is something we will look at doing more and more through learning events, through asking our funded organisations that have regular funding already from us, to share their knowledge with the business sector and creative industries so that we can really develop knowledge. And this is like we were saying before, Alan, about copyright is absolutely key to this, and that's a key area of our work at the moment. So hopefully there'll be lots of training about copyright issues coming out soon, and I'll make sure that everybody here is aware of that when it happens. We want to support apprenticeships with highly talented and skilled individuals. We want to improve towns and cities by investing in capital funds, and we want to inspire entrepreneurs from fashion, that's that slide, sorry, to advertising by investing in world-class arts and culture. So over the next few years, we're going to build on this work that we're doing. We want to continue to be a voice for the sector. So the Arts Council really advocates for the creative industries and the culture sector to government and big partners. And we want to look at future opportunities, particularly in arts and technology and gaming. They're two really key areas for us over the next few years. Okay, so I'm going to give you a quick overview of Grants for the Arts. So, Grants for the Arts, like I said before, you can apply for up from £1,000 to £100,000. And you can apply as an individual, an arts organisation, or anybody that can apply that use arts in their work. It's for time-limited arts-related activities that benefit people in England and help artists and arts organisations in England carry out their work. So we have an application form online. It's quite straightforward. It takes 6 weeks for an application of under 15 to get a decision, and 12 weeks if you're applying for over 15,000. Decisions are made on an area basis. It's quite competitive. I think we have about 40% success rate. But it's quite light touch, and the application form is relatively easy. What kind of activity do we fund? There's all of this, which I won't read out. But what we don't have here, digital projects, absolutely fund digital projects. What they may be is open for discussion. We're here to support. I'll give you my email address at the end. If you've got a project idea and you don't know whether it would fit in with what we're doing, you're welcome to email me. But we really look at funding. What I want to fund is kind of games, digital work, how to distribute arts online, anything that has a kind of arts and technology focus, really. And we will start to fund startups, so commercial businesses that have got an interesting element of innovative, creative R&D that maybe is too risky to be funded through a normal grant or loan, business loan giving organisation, that's something that we could support. So we could be there to fund you if you've got that type of project. What don't we fund? We don't fund activities that aren't arts related, activities that provide no potential benefit to the public. We don't fund students towards their study. We don't fund educational establishments towards their curriculum activity or retrospective activities, so we don't fund anything that's already happened. It's all project-based, and your project can be up to 3 years long. So it's an online application. The website is www.artscouncil.org.uk, and there's loads and loads of guidance and information sheets about different areas on there. If you have a creative industries project or a commercial project, you'll find that there's not information sheets on there at the moment, but we're hoping that they will be out coming up in the next 2 to 3 months. What we look at in the application is the quality of your work, quality of your idea. We look at public engagement, so how people are going to engage, who you want to engage with your activity. We look at how you're going to manage it, what kind of experience you've got managing, what kind of partners you're working with, and finance. And we always ask for a minimum of 10% match funding, and that can be through in-kind support, so just free stuff that you're offered, or cash is obviously always good to help support your project against, just make it less risky for our investment. Yeah, that's everything on there. What informs our decision making? Information in the application form, the context, our professional judgment, and benchmarking against other applications. We have a kind of geographic balancing as well, and an art form balancing, so we make sure when we make decisions about who gets funding, it goes to kind of an even spread across area, location, and art form. So if you're successful, this is all pretty standard, we'll pay the money 90% and then 10% for under 15, 50, 40, 10 for over 15, which is quite helpful when you're planning your budgets. You must acknowledge our funding and we're using our logos. And you must always provide an evaluation, because we really want to learn from whatever we're funding. So we want to learn from the work that you're doing and what you're testing, how it can be beneficial to other artists and organisations in the future. So I'm just going to, I've got time.
You have, yeah.
Yeah, quickly, very briefly talk about a couple of projects. So we've got the Arts and Technology Pilot Programme. So this is really exciting. What we wanted to do was, we've seen some fantastic examples of places like the Pervasive Media Studio at Watershed, which we do fund, develop really interesting projects by bringing arts and technologists and scientists and academics, like I was saying before, together to work in a space and see what happens. And so we've partnered with Innovate UK and the Knowledge Transfer Network to develop a project which is in certain locations. So at the moment we've got the pilot is in Makerversity in London, Mad Lab in Manchester, and Near Now in Nottingham. And we're bringing people together to come up with products and ideas that have some kind of commercial potential, and really explore and develop those so they can become potential startups in the future. And this is a pilot now, and hopefully will be spreading out more widely, so there might be opportunity for an organisation in this area to apply to become a kind of maker lab, and they'll get some money to commission artists to come and work with them. Creative Local Growth Fund is a fund that we have just announced the successful bids, and we have 3 in the southwest, but not one from here. So there's potential when the fund opens again in July. And these are big projects, and they're funded part by Arts Council and part by European money. But we're seeing projects come out of them that are looking at the creative industry sector and supporting startup businesses. So you can come with an idea, you can share, you can have business mentoring, you can develop that idea, you can have support to take it to market. So it can be a whole kind of journey of development of your project. So I think there's going to be some really exciting things come out of that. And that's me, and that's my email address, and I think we've got some questions at the end.